Hello, and welcome back to Lord of Heroes on Nyris Gaming. We have a lot to get to today with the new update. First things first, just to bring it to your attention because it was not mentioned in the news at all. I completely forgot about this. Firefram is a Christmas login reward every year. They failed to remind us about this, but she's back. So you have 20 days starting today to log in 14 days of those, and you will receive 30 elixirs, 100,000 gold, 4 to 6 star relic chest, 300 crystals, a bulwark weapon, 50,000 renown, a fire soul stone, 10 potent elixirs, 500 crystals, 10 alchemy tickets, 200,000 gold, a bulwark armor, 100,000 renown, and on day 14, Fire Fram. I don't remember what you get if you already have her. I believe it's crystals. It'd be awesome if it was aptitude, but that says it's still not available. Last time she got duplicated, I don't think aptitude was even in the game yet. I'll have to see when that 14th day hits in 2 weeks. Secondly, Earth Ondal is here. He is available on his featured summon page. Let's look at his ability levels. They are pretty straightforward. So his 1, very simple, attacks all enemies, 30% chance to inflict stun for 1 turn. You don't do this for the stun, you do it for the fact that it's an AoE skill 1. Damage all across the board for levels here. His 2, 5 turn cooldown, 390 burst gauge. Grants Pierce and Fury of the Strong buff to the user for 2 turns and gains an extra turn immediately. More than 1 extra turn cannot be gained in a row. Fear of the Strong increases attack power by 4% for every 5% of health lost. If I remember my calculations earlier correctly, at maximum, or rather minimum health for this, you get approximately, you know what, actually let me calculate it again right now just so I have it fresh in my memory. You'll gain 76% attack increase at 5% or lower health, which you can attain quite effectively using his burst. However, the levels for this are going to be an extra 50% burst gauge gain, increased buff duration by 1 turn, and 2 turn cooldown reduction. So this has a permanent uptime at max rank because it's 3 turn cooldown and lasts for 3 turns, which is lovely to see. This is definitely going to be Prio 1 as far as skills are concerned. Prio 2 is going to be his burst, I would imagine, because this is going to be the main source of his damage and the main source of minimizing his health to maximize his damage output. Reduces the user's health by 30% and attacks a selected target. Damage increases greatly when the user's health is lower. Additionally, grants Fortitude for 1 turn, which prevents him from dying no matter how much damage he takes, as long as the buff is active. This is damage across the board. A little sad to see it doesn't reduce the spirit cost by at least 1, but it sounds powerful. We'll have to see exactly how much kind of damage it does when I actually get him. Speaking of which, I have stockpiled some link stones since Firelin let us do some polls. Something to note, there is a coupon code starting today for 5 days, Ondal High. This will give you 300 link stones on top of the 200 you get from the free Christmas gift in the purchases page. It is a free tent pole. Okay, here is his featured summon banner. This is also going to come with all of the new relics for the 4 heroes that they added relic-wise. I have enough for 30 pulls. Let's see if we can get them. Hopefully. We are going to skip this because it takes forever. Okay, not initially. We got some base relic for Water Olivia, Dark Astrid, and refined relic for Water Olivia. We'll get into those later. Not on the second pull. Divine relic for Water Olivia, though, and Divine relic for Water Astrid. Not on the third pull. Couple of Zaira relics, though. Cool. I have 3 more. Hopefully. Not today. I will have to grind for the next month and a half. Yes, 47 days. Yep, month and a half. Cool. Didn't get him now, but I need 57 more. Should be able to do that without purchasing. Hopefully. Don't remember my calculations from that before, but let us move on to the new relics. So as far as relics are concerned, there are relics for Ondal alongside his banner, alongside Olivia of all elements, Zaira of all elements, Astrid of all elements, and regular Helga of all elements. Let us start with Olivia's. Starting with light Olivia, come in here. Her base one is going to be attack power, refined. Going to be if she deals a crit, is a striker, should be doing that frequently. 50% chance to reduce the enemy's resistance for 2 turns. Now she only has 1 debuff, which is provocation on her 2. So I don't know how helpful this is to her specifically, but if you're running a crowd control heavy team, might be more helpful. It's up to 85% at max. Divine Relic, upon receiving damage, which will happen frequently if she provokes enemies, 50% chance to increase the user's attack power by 10%, stacking up to 5 times, expiring after a wave is defeated. Now this increases the attack power that it increases, but it does not increase the chance of it happening, so it stays 50-50. That's kind of crummy. But this gets up to 25% per stack, so she gets an extra 125% attack power, which is amazing on her because she is one of the strongest damage dealers in the game. I would definitely go with this one. Water Olivia. Base 1 is going to be crit rate, which is good just on its own because she has effects based on crit chance, or rather landing crits. Refined is going to be, speaking of which, if she deals a crit, 50% chance to reduce her skill cooldown by 1 turn. She's designed to be built for crits even though she's a sniper. Her 2 is an AoE defense down, which would be lovely to have up more frequently. This gets up to 85% chance on crits. Her 2 is a 70% AoE defense down for 2 turns every 3 turns. If she triggers that, she will be able to do this every other turn, which is amazing. Because at max rank, it is a 3-turn cooldown, dropping by 1 that turn, immediately upon critting at that 85% chance. I'd say this is pretty effective. Divine Relic, upon attacking, don't have to crit, just use any of her abilities because they're all attacks. 50% chance to increase the action gauge of the ally with the highest attack power by 20%, and this gets up to an 85% chance whenever she does anything. So basically, her Refined is more if you're wanting to use her as a DPS or defense shredder. Her Divine is more if you want her to be a DPS support, supporting your main DPS. Both I can see being viable in different setups. Earth Olivia, your free sniper after your first week of logins. Her default is going to be debuff rate. Refined is going to be upon attacking, 50% chance to remove one of the most recent buffs from the enemy. This gets up to 85% chance. Her Divine, upon attacking, 50% chance to increase the user's action gauge by 25%. This gets up to 85% chance as well. So I would say this again is more if you're leaning her towards a DPS role so she can be attacking more frequently, along the likes of Fire Lucilica's 1, and or getting her debuffs out more frequently, because this will have a chance to trigger on everything she does. Pseudo speed, I like to call it. And we don't have Fire or Dark Olivia yet, so we'll move on to the next hero. Water Helga, one of our early game free strikers. Good for AoE damage and sapping. Her default increases her attack power. Good as a striker. I had a moment when I was thinking about her, thinking about Earthschneider's artifacts, the one that gives him even more sap, and had a feeling that they might have done that for her as well because she is a sap striker. And they did. Her Refined, upon attacking, 50% chance to inflict 1 stack of sap damage on the enemy for 1 turn, which will apply to all of her abilities, including her AoEs. This gets to a 80% chance, which is a better sap chance than any of her actual abilities, her 2 and Burst. They get up to 60%, I believe, each. So this will make her even more effective at sapping, and therefore much better at fighting late game bosses. Her Divine, upon attacking, so everything, 50% chance to increase her action gauge by 25%. Pretty much identical to Water Olivia. This gets up to 85% chance, so this will give her pseudo speed as well for everything she does. Fire and Dark Helga, 2 of the more forgotten about, neglected heroes. they get a little bit of loving with this. Fire Helga debuff rate is her default. She has a strong focus on debuffs, so that is decent. Her Refined, upon attacking, which is everything, chance to extend the duration of one of the oldest debuffs on the target by 1 turn. This gets up to 60, 70, 80, 100% at max rank, which is amazing. So this will help if she actually gets her debuffs off to keep them there. And it'll affect AoE on her 2 and burst. Her Divine, upon attacking, 50% chance to reduce speed of the enemy for 1 turn, capping at 80% at max rank, adding a more reliable and additional debuff to her kit. Still don't know that this will make her all that relevant compared to other options, but it's something at least. Dark Helga. Default is crit rate. The Warrior Helga that is more DPS heavy, given she can gain infinite extra turns if she's killing opponents. Her Refined if she deals a crit hit, which I would imagine she should be, because she's more supposed to be built as a DPS. 50% chance to increase her action gauge by 30%. This caps out at 85%. It's more than the other 2 we've seen so far. So she gets a little pseudo speed to keep the ball rolling if she doesn't get her extra turns from her 1 in burst. Divine Relic. Upon attacking, which is everything, 50% chance to increase her attack power for 2 turns, and capping at 85%. This will be better if you are in a setup that doesn't reliably increase attack power, lacking something like Earth Aslan. Give her a little bit extra damage. Onward to Astrid. We're gonna start with the Nutso Astrid, Dark Astrid. Default is health, oddly enough, even though she's a striker. Make her a little bit more durable, although her health is very low. She is Glass Cannon incarnate. Her Refined, upon attacking, 50% chance to increase the resistance of herself for 2 turns. This will help keep her from being crowd controlled, which can happen quite frequently, unless you have someone to increase that in your party. This caps out at 80% and applies to all her abilities. Nice that this is 2 turns, not 1. Her Divine is unique among relics, because this is the first one to have increased elemental damage against light elemental enemies. This will cap out at 50% starting at 25. So at max rank, if you're fighting a light element enemy, just flat 50% increase in damage, which is a little overboard given she already does absurd amounts, but even more absurd amounts is always welcome. Basically, if you're going up against a lot of crowd control, use this. If you want to just lean heavy into damage, use this. Speed Demon, Fire Astrid. Default is crit rate. You can use this if you don't want to build as much in your substats. Refined, upon attacking, 50% chance to increase the user's action gauge by 25%. On top of the fact that you're going to be building tons of speed on her because all of her damage scales on speed, this will give her even faster turns on all that she does, capping at 85%. Won't increase her damage because it's not direct speed, it's pseudo speed with self boosting, but still, the fact that she gets turns as fast as she does, if she's built right, getting them even faster, she's going to be attacking all the time. Divine Relic, upon attacking, 30% chance to grant Blitz, which will trigger her S2 immediately after that. And based on others that do this, this will apply on any of her abilities, including the thing that it blitzes. This caps at 55%. It's a little over 50-50, but still kind of eh. But given she's supposed to be attacking so frequently, getting immediate 2s in all the time will get extra attacks in fairly frequently based on probability, and keep her speed buff up more frequently from her 2. Water Astrid, miss single target lockdown. Default is debuff rate, which is apt because she is all about stunning and action gauge reduction. Refined Relic, upon attacking, 35% chance to taunt the enemy for 1 turn. Again, with putting taunt in here when that isn't a thing, it's provoke. I did test that on the other relic, I think it was for Earth 11, and it is provocation, but hers capped out at like 25%, making it almost completely inviable. This one actually increases to a decent amount, capping at 40, 50, 60%. A little over 50-50, but still not great for a single target crowd control ability, although it's on top of everything else, so might be viable, on top of the fact that she gets counterattack as a buff instead of just her equipment. Her Divine, upon attacking, 50% chance to reduce the enemy's speed for 2 turns, so just another debuff on top of all of her other locking a single target out abilities. And this one caps at 80%. Just more debuffing and lockout. Only just now realized that Light Astrid is the only one we don't have so far. Earth Astrid, default is speed. She is a sniper. Although her build suggests she's supposed to be played more like a striker, oddly. Free speed is never going to be looked down upon in my eyes. Refined is upon attacking, 50% chance to increase the attack power of the user for 2 turns. Again, more of a DPS sniper, weirdly. This caps out at 85%. Divine, upon receiving damage, 30% chance to grant fortitude. Again, leaning more into DPS, although this could just make her a more durable sniper because you're supposed to build them tanky to survive and give out their buffs and debuffs. This will cap at 60%. It's a strong buff, so I get that one being lower. 60% will not be too bad for that, although it's when she gets hit, kind of like Water Dragon Knight Helga, I believe her refined relic. So this will be based on whether you're running her more as a DPS or want her to be more durable. Last but not least, Zaira. Fire Zaira, one of our first, besides Water Fram, free guardians. Debuff rate is going to be the default. She has debuffs on all of her abilities, so that is wonderful. Refined, upon attacking, 50% chance to remove one of the most recent buffs from the enemy. This caps out at 85%. A welcome addition to her kit. I'm kind of curious to see how large these things are, because they look monstrous and awesome. Divine, upon attacking, 50% chance to increase the resistance of each ally for 1 turn. That'll be a nice buff addition to the team on top of Bulwark set from a Guardian. This will cap out at 85% chance and trigger on all of her abilities because they're all attacks. I would lean more towards this one in high crowd control situations. This could actually make her more viable against the Earth Sea God in the Silent Straits, because that thing is crowd control central. Zaira could be a nice flex pick in there if built with this. Light Zaira, a guardian who is designed for DPS with her burst. She did not really get any DPS heavy relics, sadly. Default is defense. Refined is upon receiving damage, 50% chance to heal the ally with the lowest amount of health by 15%, and this caps at 85% chance. Divine, upon receiving damage, 30% chance to increase the action gauges of each ally by 10%. Pseudo speed for everyone. This caps out at 40, 45, 55, 75% chance. So her relics are more designed on supporting the team rather than being the primary DPS. So if you want her to lean more into that role, you have options. Sadly, there's none for, say, like Water Fram's one where she gets stacking attack power for her max health burst. A little disappointing, but allows her to be added in different ways. Earth Zaira from the Alliance shop. Earth Warrior, her default is speed. If I remember correctly, all of her damage scales off of speed, so this makes sense. Her Refined, upon attacking, 50% chance to inflict 20% damage that ignores defense. And this will cap out at 85%. So she is the one that they're wanting you to lean more into as a DPS Zaira, giving her striker equipment as a relic, albeit not as much, obviously. Divine Relic, upon attacking, 50% chance to increase the speed of the user for 2 turns, capping at 85% chance. This is nice because I don't believe anything in her kit gives her speed, so unless you're running speed in your party, she has no access to that, and this will increase the frequency of her attacks and the damage of her attacks because they scale with speed. So this is nice to see. Just realized that this is a mace full of dragon heads, and it just became even more awesome in my eyes. Now sadly, I don't have Ondal because we didn't get him in the polls, but I have looked through chat to see his relics. If I remember correctly, his refined has a chance to give him attack up on attacking. His divine gives him a chance to shred defense on attacking. That one I would imagine is amazing, because it'll reduce the defense of everything he hits, especially with his one, which is an AoE. I think it capped at 80% as well. So an 80% AoE defense shred, or a single target from his burst, will be beneficial to him and everyone on the team. Last but not least, of course, we have the Avalon Knight edition for Schneider and Charlotte in the shop now for 180 temporal threads each, as well as the War of the Tyrants accessory pack for 150. I do not have Earth Schneider's outfit, but I did get Charlotte's, so let us see her animation with it on. That is adorable. Of course, this is not relegated specifically to Earth Charlotte. The fun thing about these outfits is, like the Traveler in Genshin, the little glowing elements will change based on the element of the wearer. For example, Dark Charlotte, who is out right now in the shop, if we swap this over, will have purple elements instead of green. It's a fun little feature of these outfits. She looks so formal, yet still adorable. With all of that said, that's going to do it for Lord of Heroes on Nyris Gaming today. Look forward to the next video announcing more news if we get any more this month, or another update. Until then.